So I'm kind of surprised that more people are not even talking about this, and I haven't really seen anything about it, but this came across my desk recently, and I'm very fascinated by it. This released on November 5th. No interference in creative works. Japanese government proposes a new policy for anime and game expansion in the West. This is by Automaton Media, West Branch, because I believe they have a Japanese and an English version of this news outlet. Yeah, so this basically talks about Japan proposing a new policy that gives protections to not alter Japanese creatives' art, basically. Let's read. This October, the Japanese Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, METI, held its 8th Entertainment and Creative Industry Policy Seminar, during which it proposed 5 key principles of its new policy guidelines for the Japanese content industry, including video games, anime, manga, film, and music. So everything, every kind of export that is entertainment-based coming out of Japan, mostly for America, because the US consumes the most Japanese media, I believe, in the entire world. I assume that's the case, at least. As reported by Otaku Soken, the new guidelines have been announced as part of the strategy to achieve the government's goal of expanding the overseas market size for domestic content to, oh my god, 20 trillion yen by 2033. That is an insane number. Actually insane. This comes only a month after the Japan Business Federation, Keidanren, issued an urgent message calling on the government to provide immediate large-scale and long-term support for the country's content industry. So this is a call to support stuff that is being sent overseas to other countries, basically. Okay, well, I mean, I thought I already had support, but we'll read more about why they're calling for specifically to support this this new shift in the way how Japan is doing business with their entertainment exports. The 5 key principles of the Entertainment and Creative Industries Policy are listed as follows: large-scale, long-term strategic support. Okay, yeah, of course, that makes sense. Support efforts to spread Japan-made content to the world. So mostly in countries that don't necessarily always have access to Japanese media. No interference in the content of creative works. This is extremely important, okay? The US, well, just English translations specifically, have had a trouble with English localization over the last several years. Yes, English localization has always been a part of taking games from Japan and translating them for an audience in the West. But over the last several years, that's kind of come to a head because more and more accurate translations of Japanese media has become way more apparent. And so you have a lot of things that's been coming out of like certain characters saying a term or a phrase that only really fits in with like an American demographic, but it's not it's not being said at all in a Japanese dialect. So that's what this is talking about. Provide direct support and prioritize those willing to take a challenge. In light of recent events, especially aggressive content restrictions and global pressure from payment processing firms, Visa and MasterCard, of course, excuse me, going against a lot of Japanese exports and being like, oh, this is offensive, potentially. You have to censor it. And it's like, no, it wasn't. It wasn't offensive. What are you talking about? Or, well, this is only meant for this one demographic or audience or fans that are already used to this. Why am I now having to change this when this was not my vision? The third principle of the policy has been attracting attention in particular. As explained by METI, the government's goal is to invest in intellectual properties, human resources, and digital technologies, as well as support international distribution networks and overseas investments into building fandoms. Okay, that's good. Consequently, the third principle was suggested to reassure creators that their freedom of expression will be protected, and that government backing does not imply that the content of their works will be meddled with in any way. This is the most important part of this. If a government is backing your product, there is a chance that they may say, hey, we don't want you to put this out because it could give people the wrong idea about X, Y, and Z. Why don't you change that? Stifling someone's creative expression by preventing them from getting out what they want to create for a broader audience, basically. So, this will save entertainment exports like anime, for example, or whatever, in America and other countries. Cool. That's great. I'm backing this. Furthermore, Clause 4 of the policy proposal suggests that there will be more transparency behind the support process, meaning less reliance on intermediary companies and more of the support directly reaching those involved in the creation and popularization of content. Okay. Yeah. No, that's good. I like transparency and communications between creatives and their audiences. As for the reasons behind the new policy proposal, Medi cites meager results in its previous efforts to expand the overseas market size for domestically produced content. While some of the measures did show some results, Medi suggests that they were still at a low level compared to other countries like South Korea. The ministry commented they weren't able to expand the stock of tangible / intangible assets and raise labor productivity and wages to a satisfactory level, and are hoping that the new policy helps Japanese-produced content conquer the world. This is a tongue-in-cheek joke because people in America read manga more, like it's like 22% more, or it was either 22% or 65% more. I forget exactly what the percentage was, but it's like blowing Western media out of the water, basically. So your Western author will pale in comparison to your Japanese manga artist or writer. So there you go. I just wanted to show this off, this policy that could change the way how things are localized in the future. What do you mean by localized, Zero? Well, here's some examples I want to give. I'm just pulling some stuff. This was a while back. All the images that I'm pulling are from a while back. This is about, let's see here, NIS America. This is from this person. Clip from an NIS America stream where they admit to censoring anything that makes their localizers uncomfortable and further stating that their localization is often better than the original. So yeah, over the last several years, you have a lot of localizers thinking that they know better than the Japanese artists, you know, the original directors and creators, and inputting their own dialogue to try and make it their own, essentially, making it more important in their eyes than the creators. Great example. I don't even know what game this is. School festival, YOLO swag, YOLO swag. I'm fairly certain this was not said in the Japanese dialogue. Hardy hardy student. Hells yeah, done with guard duty. Time to swag it out, boys. YOLO. This is dated dialogue. No one says this anymore. Clearly. Let's see here. Oh, this is more recent, actually. Localizers. So, Midori targets the incel types. I don't even know if Japan has a word for incel. I mean, maybe it does, but this was not what was said. The reality of this was Midori wa dote. Green is virginity. Dote meaning Japanese. Written with the kanji for child and chastity, translates to virgin or virginity, specifically male. It can also be used as a noun or adjective. So the correct translation was Midori targets the virgin types. By the way, virgin does not mean incel. I'm just pointing that out there. Don't call someone an incel if they're a virgin. Just call them a virgin, okay? Use that as your insult. Finally, this was another anime about, I believe, fashion models. Yeah, so this translation. What? Did I just start mansplaining fashion to a literal pro model? Mansplaining. That was not the word used. Basically, the original translation was, oh, did I just start blathering incessantly about fashion to a pro model? Not the word mansplaining. So you have a lot of translators that are taking dialogue and characters and turning them into a different, like they're ruining what the characterization is. Now, I know in Unicorn Overlord, they took all the character dialogue and they used purple prose. Purple prose basically means Shakespeareifying, you know, Shakespearean dialogue. Here's the problem. I like purple prose. I like Shakespearean dialogue in my games. So I was okay with it. They did change the way how some of the characters acted, but they relatively kept things loyal to what that game was. Another concept I want to talk about is thaumaturgy. Do you know what a thaumaturge is? Well, a thaumaturge is someone that has extensive knowledge either through historical training or background or cultural background or understanding, and can give an accurate translation or localization of a piece of dialogue or whatever content it is, and make it more culturally sound. Now, I don't know what kind of people that they choose for translating games, like Nintendo Treehouse or NIS or Nintendo of America or whatever, just as an example. But the best way in order to localize something, in my opinion, would be to get a thaumaturge to translate and then provide an equal metaphor or idiom or simile or whatever in order to make it as close to the original meaning as possible, if they want to go that direction. Like, hey, where are you going? To, yo, dude, I heard you're going over to the supermarket. Can I come with? Home slice? A thaumaturge would come in, and if they wanted to keep the same meaning, they'd probably just say, hey, where are you going? Just translate it directly. But if it's something specific that Japan is the only group that can understand what is being said, because that metaphor is explicitly expressed over there, but we wouldn't get it. I say we. Americans wouldn't get it. That's when the thaumaturge would come in and be like, okay, what is as close to this as possible that I can get, so the translation fits well with what they're trying to talk about. That's where you start to get a lot of the funny jokes and stuff for certain characters. We're not allowed to make mistakes anymore, is what I'm trying to say. Mistakes don't happen anymore. So taking a lot of what characters are and turning them into this changes the way how this character is portrayed in the first place. Let me know what you think in the comments. This is very fascinating. They're trying to protect their intellectual properties and protect their directors and creatives and writers from tampering through either the government or overseas localization. This is good. This is good. It preserves culture, it preserves artistic integrity, and it preserves artistic expression. So there you go. Take care, everybody. I'll see you next time.